Hello, my name is Oneida Whitney. I will be doing the narration of this presentation for my group. As you can see, the group members were Janessa, Drew, Christina, Ashley, and myself, and we will be presenting on the critical issue of how obesity affects students' learning and why this issue should be addressed. So, what is obesity? Obesity can be defined as the excess of adipose tissue, and basically what adipose tissue is fat. And so how does this happen? Well, you take in too many calories, or a person eats too much, and they don't use all the calories they consume, and so your body stores that as fat. And so, what are the symptoms if you start becoming obese? Well, there's appearance-wise of the weight gain. There's also different reproductive repercussions where people, if they gain too much weight, can no longer have children. Orthopedic, it does take a toll on your feet carrying around all that weight. And then also there's heart issues that can develop because your blood has to pump further and harder, and so your heart's working a lot harder, and then also respiratory issues can appear. Um, so it is by the CDC qualified as a chronic disease because of the long-term effects it has. So how is obesity treated? Well, we are focusing on children, so really, the earlier the better, because children are developing habits at a young age, and so the younger it is caught, the the better effects it can have long term. And so it usually does start with a dietary plan. Most times a nutritionist is involved. A change in eating habits, and then also physical activity are the main ways that one can combat obesity or just weight gain in general. There are some extreme circumstances where medications and weight loss surgery can be used. However, those tend to be a lot riskier, and so medical professionals attempt to avoid those at all costs. Um, Obesity and just rapid weight gain in children does take its toll. Obese children tend to score lower on subject tests. A study done by Sarah Gable did a study of children who entered kindergarten and followed them till the fifth grade, and they found that there was a difference in children who were obese and children who weren't as early on as the first grade with their test scores, and that these poor performance persisted through the fifth grade. However, they did not follow them further on in life, but but one can infer that issues continued through middle school and high school and so forth. Also, obesity does take its emotional toll on children. Feelings of isolation can be felt because their friends can be more active than them, and sometimes they don't feel like they can keep up, or they feel just isolated in general because they don't have a group to belong to. A history of obesity. So, obesity has been an issue for mankind since the dawn of time. There's not really a clear date of when obesity was first seen as a real issue. That humans are designed to store fat in case of a famine. And so the reason why obesity is an issue is because with this excess of food and calories, our bodies have the tendency to store it all. Because if there was a case of famine, much like our bodies are designed to, we store all this so we can use those reserves in those extreme cases. However, in today's society, our bodies are still programmed to do that, and so it really, this chronic disease is prevalent, though there is no one specific time where, as a society, we decided this is an issue. It is clear that as each century comes on, um, this obesity issue, especially in children, is growing and growing. So, we can see through these infographics that with time, this is the latest data we had was 2013 from the CDC, more states are becoming darker and darker blue as obesity increases. In the 1970s, only 5% of children between 2 to 19 were considered obese. However, in 2012, the number of obese children jumped all the way to 21%. So that's from 5% in the 1970s to 21% in 2012. And these numbers all come from the CDC. So we continue on with the history and the effects it has. Studies have been conducted where physical education is important to combat obesity. However, it really is an issue of calories consumed and what kind of foods these children are eating. And so, childhood obesity is responsible for many developmental issues that kids are experiencing. As you can see in this table here to the right, obesity-driven issues, loss of brain tissue, lower attention span, long-term memory impairment, and so forth. Not only that, but it does have long-term effects on the children as they develop. If they continue to be obese, they can suffer heart failure, clogging of arteries. They are a higher risk of strokes, and so forth. So this is an issue that many professionals claim needs to be attacked early on. Points of view. So there aren't very many varying points of view about obesity. Many medical professionals agree that it is an issue. All understand, not all, but the majority of medical professionals that have conducted studies see that there is a correlation between lower academic achievement and the increase of obesity. And so this quote here is just an excerpt taken from a study from a paper written by titled "The Relationship Between Obesity and the Academic Achievement of School-Age Children." And so that paper basically covers how various studies that professionals conducted, and that there is the correlation between children being obese and their lower academic achievement. And then also it delved into the issue of how there is the mental and emotional stress on students. And down below, further in the PowerPoint, in the resource page, you can find that article if you wish to look more into it. So obesity today, there is a slight decrease for children. If you look just at the state of California, there is a decrease of like 0.2% from 2013 to today. They found that early care and education are key in preventing obesity within children, and that it's still a large issue for adults. So if you kind of just watch along with this video, it just talks about how this issue is prevalent mainly with adults, and the long-term effects it has. And so overall, obesity is an issue, and so a way to prevent this from becoming an even larger issue is health and nutrition awareness, and giving this information out to parents and families at home, and giving them the resources available to where fast food's not the only option they have. Providing them with abilities to, fresh foods and green foods, and just there are areas in the United States alone where there are zones where they don't even have access to grocery stores. And things like that are issues that need to be addressed not only within each state but on a national level for each students. So, let's pause this really quick. So the group member roles are listed here, and then also all of these sources that we used right here. There are clickable links, so if you wanted to go check out that article I quoted earlier, it's right here. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good day.